Paloma, welcome aboard to the show. So happy to have you with us today.
Thank you, Ari. I'm glad to be here.
So I'm going to take you back a hell of a lot of years. You decided to do something that I'm going to assume many of your friends did not. What was that crazy thing in your youth? And why did you decide to do it?
Ooh, one of the crazy things I decided to do in my youth, I decided to go to a military school. I went to the Naval Academy Preparatory School for a year in Rhode Island. Um, and I did that because I was afraid to go to real college. Not real college. I was afraid to go to regular college because I thought I would just get drunk and do drugs and get in trouble.
So you were afraid of having a good time, basically. That's the story here.
I wasn't allowed to go out past 9 o'clock at night in high school. My dad was
Mhm.
very strict and he was in the military. And so
Mhm.
I was just really afraid of disappointing him. So I was like, the safest bet is to go to this military school. So that's what I did. Yeah.
I have a you just well the audience don't know this because this is a different segment, but you just met my daughter.
Uh huh.
I don't think there's a fiber in her body that is just afraid of anything, especially not to disappoint me. so, so yeah. I need to talk with your dad and get some
Yeah.
tips. So you go to military school.
hmm
What was that experience like? Is it just like any other old school or?
No, well, first of all, I was brought up in Texas, and so this school is in Newport, Rhode Island,
Mm.
and I, well, first of all, like you go through this whole like summer of it's not hazing, but it's like older students that come from the academies and just make your life hell, right? Like think about waking up in the morning and they've like thrown a trash can down the hall and they're screaming and yelling. Like you wake up like like a vampire, like when the sun comes out or something. And it's and it's constantly like being on guard, like hyper vigilant.
Mm.
So like one time they took all of some people like left their locks unlocked on their locker
Mm.
and they told everybody to bring their locks to the hall, and then they locked all of our locks together into this huge ball and threw it down the hall. And then yeah, just a lot of psychological crap. It was also where I saw like a lot of snow for the first time. And so that was like, like on Edward Scissorhands where she sees the snow come down and she's like, ah, like it's like this beautiful. I was the only one like that because everybody else knew we were going to have to shovel it. And it was like, but it won't be hard. It's fluffy.
Well, in
It's
Colorado, that's
It
true. The
wasn't
fluffy.
fluffy. It
No,
was
it
really
wasn't fluffy.
heavy and then it got muddy and it was horrible.
What's your best memory and worst memory from that time?
My best memory was my roommate. My
Mm.
roommate Emily was my best friend, and they had like a really high attrition rate. Their attrition rate was like 80%.
Mm.
And they had one point where they're like, look to your right and look to your left. Most likely, if you're still here, the people that are next to you won't be. And I remember we looked at each other and I said, if I'm still here, you're still going to be here. And she said, you too. And we did, like we were dogs, like we looked out for each other. It was like instant best friend, like they made us instant best friends because we had to be. Worst
Mm.
thing, um the worst thing was a funny thing. I mean, um worst thing, like I don't really like to see people get humiliated, right? And so we were about to go out for the very first time on pass, and the gunnery sergeant, because they had a gunnery sergeant there with us, even though it was a Navy school, somebody farted while while we were sitting there. And he was so insulted. And he was like, you better hover that shit. And this guy had to like, stuck in the odor
Oh my lord.
of his own toot.
Oh my
and
lord.
we and you better not laugh, right? So
How can you not laugh?
it was but you're sitting there and you cannot laugh while you're there, because then you're gonna help him hoover. I wasn't gonna risk that. So it wasn't.
Americans are hardcore. So
Oh,
I was in boot camp. We gave our officers shit, and they're all like doing their distance thing, right? So they're not your friend. They're not smiling at you. They're shouting at you all the time. Yeah, of course, there's when they break distance, which is towards the end.
yeah,
But until that stage, like you are, a rat, and they are, human beings.
right.
But you like, look, for us, it's everybody serves, right?
Oh,
So in that case, we know what we're walking into. We know what this is going to be like, and we get prepared. And so these fuckers are just a year older than us, right? What are the officers, right? The officers are a year older,
yes,
right? They're not.
same
They're
thing.
not.
Yeah.
They're not. In their 30s or something.
No.
They're not adults. These are. And I went to like a technical school,
Yeah.
so some of them were younger than me.
Oh.
So this 18-year-old girl is treating me like like I'm some kind of, okay, I smile, and and my back is killing me, but fine, whatever, we'll get through this, because you're just standing and doing their shit for hours and hours and hours and hours, and you just want to die. And then they put you in a class to teach you shit for hours, and there's no air conditioning.
And don't fall asleep. Yeah.
So hot, but there's no air conditioning, so and you get tired, and then somebody's shouting at you, and suddenly you're doing push-ups.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think that's universal.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine. Like, if you're feeling tired, stand up.
Yes. All we had to do, stand up and do push-ups. Find some real estate and do some push-ups. Would you have still gone had you not had to go?
For us, there's no option, right?
But
in
if
Israel.
There was.
Oh Lord, I don't know. In retrospect, I want to say yes, but as a dumbass 18-year-old, I don't know what I was such an idiot. I was stupid and arrogant, and I wasn't a very good person. Like, I don't know. I can't tell you what I would have done.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, when my sister-in-law, she got very sick, and she was basically exempt. Oh. And I said, you should volunteer and you should go. Because as a volunteer, they'll accommodate you. They might not let you go anyway as a volunteer, but they might accommodate you, and you got to do this. She decided not to, and it's fine. But yeah, I told her, you need to go.
Yeah.
But whatever. Anyway, so I'm talking way too much.
No.
So
I thought this was a conversation.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. So okay, so you're finishing the program, and did you have a choice at that stage? Like, what am I going to do next?
The choice was to go to the actual. So I went to that school because it was just 1 point off from going straight to the academy, and so from like my sophomore year, which is like year 10 until 12, I had my heart set on going to the Air Force Academy, right? And to go, are you familiar with the service academies in the US?
No, just through the little that I hear.
So you have to get nominated to go by a congressman, by a United States congressman.
Oh, shit.
It's prestigious and it's free, right? And they pay you a stipend, but then you get automatically commissioned as an officer once it's over. But it's 4 years and you get a degree, right? So it's one of those things where you have to prep for that. You don't just end up going to one of those schools. Like, you start your high school career saying, this is what I want usually. And so you got to keep your GPA up. You got to have volunteer hours. You've got to have, job histories. You've got to have extracurricular sports, good grades, no disciplinary. Like, you have to be perfect. And I was playing sports, and I had been doing powerlifting, and I tore my ACL. And so
it's rough recovery.
Yes, I had to get a waiver. And during the process, you have to go through a full physical.
Mm.
and they found that I had like this weird heartbeat, like like a bundle block, branch block or
Mm.
something. And so that made me have to get a second waiver. So
Oh, wow.
I wait my whole life for this little interview thing. And not my whole life, my whole high school life, right? My
But it feels
dad,
like that at
it
that age,
feels like
right?
that because you're in high school and high school takes
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
And my dad's in the lobby. I'm excited. I don't know that anything's about to come crashing down. And so it's go time. I've practiced in the mirror. I'm ready to go. I'm confident. I've got this. I've got this. I've got this. And I sit down, and there's this panel, and they're all staffers. They're not the congressmen. It's just their staff. And they're like, Miss Alaniz. And they have my folder open. And they're like, we see here you have an ACL reconstruction. I said, yes, but it's fully healed. I'm great. They're like, well, it still requires a waiver. We also see here you have um, an irregular heartbeat, and that also requires a waiver. And unfortunately, the Air Force Academy doesn't take double waivers. We just take one. Thank you very much for your time. I didn't even get to answer one question. I didn't, it was like sucker punch. It was just like everything you've been dreaming of has just been like yoinked out, like just, it's gone. And I'm in shock, walking back to the lobby to tell my dad. And I'm just like, what do I do now? And suddenly this man comes running out of the room. And he says, Paloma, wait. You've probably never heard of my school, but I'll take you with 2 waivers. And he was from the Merchant Marine Academy. And so I was like, I gotta go back with something. He's like, do you want to learn about it? I said, whatever it is, I'll take it. Just take me. So he's like, well, your math score was 1 point too low. 1 point. So you have to go to Long Island. You have to go to Newport, Rhode Island for a year to go to this school. So when I finished that 1 year school for that 1 point, which I passed the flying colors, I went to go start my school. Well, I get there and they take us on like our very first ride in the ocean. And we're in this, it's not like a big ship. It's actually kind of small. We're going through the channel. And this is my first time in the ocean in a vessel. Because again, I'm like from Texas. I just about turned inside out. Like I was over the side of the ship and it was nonstop vomiting, vertigo, and just overall just worst time of my life, like debilitating. And I realized I can't fucking do this. I can't do this. Like I can't. And so I joined the army. I never want to go. I've never been on a cruise. So yeah, that was a year. So basically all my high school career and then a full year of my life.
Right.
And then that was the year 2000 through 2001. I went home from that school and 9/11 happened. And I had been thinking of being a flight attendant. And then I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not going to be a flight attendant. I'm going to join the army. And I went to enlist. It was just like that.
Just describe where you were, what you were doing, and what you were thinking the second you found out about 9/11.
I was in the break room. I was working at Pier 1 Imports. It was like this random job I found working at a store. It was like one of my first adult jobs. And the TV was on mute. And so I didn't really realize what big of a deal it was. It just looked like an accident. And then the second time I wasn't in the break room, I was on the sales floor and the people in the store were all talking about it. And I realized this is bad. This is really bad. And I think my dad called me to check on me. And my brother was active duty in the army at the time. So he immediately got deployed. But what I was thinking was, well, this is it. Like, I have to, I have to go do something because I'm not doing anything with my life right now. Like, I spent all that time to be awesome, and I didn't get to serve in the way I wanted to serve, but I need to serve in the way I can. So I went to a recruiter's office, and they were all, I was going to go join the Air Force, and they were closed. And the only office that was open was this like army guy, this like salty old army guy. And I was just like, oh, well, he's trying to
I
like,
guess you'll have to do.
he was trying to sell me the benefits of it and anything. I was like, I don't care. Just let me sign. Like, I'm going. And I just signed up.
Did he have any record of yours? Did he see what you had done until that far? He had no idea.
No. And I didn't ever bring it up. It was an embarrassment to me. It was a failure to me. It was like, it was bad. Like when I there were other things that happened that I really wouldn't like to talk about that happened there, that like, there weren't a lot of people that looked like me there. So I wasn't super welcome either. So it was bad. And so when I did decide this isn't for me, like this isn't for me, it's gonna get worse. So the commandant, I had to go see the commandant, and he called my father and said, I'm calling you today to tell you your daughter's decided to be a quitter. Would you like to speak to her? And so he hands me the phone. And my dad, who knows me, knows I am not a quitter. I will go and I will do anything, right? So he knows something's wrong. Mm-hmm. And so I get the phone, and I'm, sitting across from this guy, and he's like, do you want to come home? I said, yes. He said, give him the phone back. So he gives him the phone. He's like, she talks to him, sends it to her. He's like, send my daughter home right now. Get a plane ticket. Send her home now. Not another minute. And so when you leave that school, mm-hmm. you have your back, everybody that's outside turns their back on you as you have to like walk away. Like it's a thing. It's a thing. Like it was one of the, so I went to the Army, and I was like top cadet. I was like top private. Like I got promoted in basic. Like I was an achiever. I always was an achiever. Right. That was one of the biggest like heartbreaks of my life, to like be treated like a failure. Yeah.
The systems don't always work for everyone. It's a machine, mm-hmm. and it's a manufacturing line, and they've been doing those systems and processes for many, 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 many years. Mm-hmm. And when they break, there's really no incentive to fix them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's painful to hear that this aspect of your story, but yeah. I mean, I understand also the why and the what, and we can debate military educational practices. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is that I use not all of them, but some of them with my children, and it's super fucking weird. But I will tell you, my children are the most resilient, 13, 11, and 6-year-old that you have ever seen. Yeah. Because it works. Yeah. So when I start, drill sergeanting them,
do you give the hand?
they smile because they know what's happening, and they get in line, and they'll do the fucking push-ups. Oh. And oh yeah. So the 6-year-old was giving me shit. He was kicked out of 2 schools. Yeah. And I was like, okay, your military academy is about to start. I kept him home for a week. Oh. He did. Yep. He was about to be kicked out of his second school, right? Oh. And he was 6, right? So I'm like, okay, it's time for your military education to start.
Right.
So okay, he was doing 8 hours of math a day. And any time where he wasn't doing what I told him in math, he dropped and gave me 10 push-ups at age 6.
Wow.
And when he started crying,
yeah,
then we had a heart-to-heart, right? You don't get those. You don't get those.
No.
We had a heart-to-heart, and I'm like, okay. And then this is where the Polish genes come out, or the Lithuanian genes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a 6-year-old. So what do you say to a 6-year-old? And so you explain, look, your behavior at school is
Right.
making mommy and daddy sad.
Right.
So I pulled out the full, like, you know, Soviet Union, Lithuanian guilt trip, right? If you're Catholic, I guess it's, you know, we ripped off the Catholics. You know, my mother-in-law is actually Catholic. So
I was Catholic. I'm Catholic.
yeah. So we pulled out the full blown, you know, guilt trip.
trip.
You're making us sad. And how are we going to fix this problem? You know, drop, give me 10.
Oh,
So he did that for a week, a whole fucking week.
poor baby.
Yeah.
Well, I bet he didn't get kicked out of school after that.
He did not. He came close to it, and then and then he stayed home for 2 days, did it again, and then he straightened out. And the teacher is like, I don't know what you did, but he was an angel today. Like, well, you did a lot of math, I'll tell you that, and there were some push-ups involved as well. So look, you know, it's a shit system, but it kind of works.
Yeah. No, I didn't have any problem with the push-ups and the rough treatment. No. It was basically, the guy was like, you don't belong here. You're only here for one reason, and you know what it is. Not knowing how hard I had worked, I think that's
inappropriate.
I earned it. Yeah, and that's what it was.
That's inappropriate.
He's like, I'm gonna make sure you get out of here. So, you know, because I was good at pretty much everything. I wasn't a bad soldier. I was a good soldier. It was actually the first thing someone told me I was good at. You're a good troop. You're a good soldier.
You know what the biggest compliment I got in my life? This guy is the son of a general, like a famous general.
Yeah.
And he says to me, Ari, I would go to war with you.
Yeah.
That was the biggest compliment I ever got. Okay, so
that's amazing.
You're in the army now.
No, not anymore. After that?
Yeah.
I went to so I joined this unit, a civil affairs unit, and I'm a reservist, right? So I get back from basic, and I'm like, what do I do now? Because you go through your basic training and your, whatever training. Which that was also crazy. I was supposed to be a medic, right? I signed up for medic. My scores were good enough. I had these scores. I could do anything I wanted in the army. And I show up the day to leave, to get shipped off. And they're like, oh, you've had a knee surgery. And I'm like, ah! Like, you have to have like perfect legs to do the lifting of the gurneys and everything. And they're like, yeah, we only have one thing open, and it's admin. And by this time I have no apartment. I've given it up. Like, I'm homeless. And I'm like, just send me to whatever. Just send me whatever. So this is like, my whole life has always been like, just do whatever. Like, I didn't get what I want. Let's just go. Let's just go. So I go. I have a good time. I get home. I live with some friends, and it's time to get a job again in between like drill. So I decide to go work at a jail. So I become a jailer at the county jail, and I'm doing that. And it's time for deployment. Like, the time for our unit to go came up, and I volunteered. I mean, I broke my mother's heart. I volunteered, and before I knew it, I was on this plane to Afghanistan. Well, to Germany, and then from Germany to Afghanistan. So that was 2003. Early. 22 years ago.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What's the worst and best that you remember of Afghanistan?
They loved Mexicans in Afghanistan. I felt more loved there than I do here.
I'm not sure that's a good thing.
It's the truth, because they would watch satellite TV, and the Mexican shows. Have you watched Mexican TV?
Telenovela.
Oh, the novelas, they're like juicy. The news reporters wear these short dresses, and the desk is glass, and you see just sexy legs through the newscast. And there'll be like little people dancing, and like there's always something crazy going on, bikinis, and it's just fun. They'd be like, oh, you America? Nay, you And I'd be like, no, Mexique. Oh, Mexique number one. Number one Mexique. They loved Mexique. Like, they just like so impressed that I was Mexican. So like I loved being Mexican there. The hard part was I mean probably now like that it you know that it feels like it was kind of for nothing. That it like that I have friends that aren't here anymore and it's back to how it was. And then I wonder, like, did we all go through all of that for a reason other than what we thought? Like, it's just, I try not to think about it too much because it's just a part of who I am now. Like, it's shaped me. I would not be the same person right now had I not gone in different ways.
They don't enlist 40-year-olds into the army or wherever military for a good reason. They need us dumb, stupid, and naive, and full of we call it poison in
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a lot of telenovelas back home because, and my one of my best friends, she was speaking Spanish fluently just because she was watching the telenovelas.
They're so good.
She like every day she would watch it for hours, like in the background, and she was fluent in Spanish. And we have a lot of Argentinians, right?
Yeah,
because there
yeah.
was a lot of Argentinians came to
Yeah.
Israel, and so she was just, in one with the Latin American crowd, speaking Spanish. And they're, like, how do you speak Spanish? Like, well, I'm Russian, but so.
And she's saying all these dramatic things, like she was
a little
she knows
crazy,
how to tell
so
somebody
yes.
they're a cheater, or like.
It's like, you did what with who?
Me engañaste. Yeah, like yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. That's like the story of a lot of people who go. Okay, so there's no like coming to America story for me because like I'm Texan.
Yeah.
Like my family's been in Texas since it was like Mexico, but I have lots of friends who have come from Mexico and they learned through American TV and through movies, like even before they came or since they've been here through TV and movies, right? So yeah. I have a funny story about TV and movies.
Go ahead. Go for it.
So you brought up kids. I have 3 kids. And my oldest...
What ages?
20, 16, and 11.
11.
So my oldest, Sebastian, he was... we were like, when you first kid where you're real careful and you like really are trying to be a good parent and you don't watch any rated R movies in front of them. You don't cuss in front of them.
This is true.
You're washing the pacifier when it falls, like things like that, So
3 times, yes.
3 times. They sanitized it all. Okay.
We had a special sanitized rack with water. It went in the microwave.
Yes, you have the wipey warmer. You have like, okay.
Yes.
So I'm tucking him in one night. He's 5. And he's like, Mommy, grab my bear so I can make love to it. And I said, what? And he's like, I want to make love to the bear. I said, what are you talking about? Where did you see this? What happened? And so like PG-13 movies, which we had seen one, like you never see the actual act. And he's like, well, isn't that where you lay under the covers and just hug? They always show like the afterwards, of people like hugging under the covers.
And this is why we have TV ratings.
He wanted to make love to his teddy bear. He went to lay under the covers of his teddy bear and go to sleep because that's all they show in that level, right?
My son, he's 6. So he uses all these words. I'm like, do you know what that means? Like, where did you hear that word?
I need an example.
Oh my Lord! What did he say yesterday? He said, "Daddy, I need a predicament." Like, what? Like, I don't have one of those.
He heard somebody say, "I've got a predicament," and he's like, "I want one too."
Yeah.
I don't have one.
It's like, well, fresh out, dude, fresh out. What the fuck?
I love it. I love it. Okay, so I gotta tell you another fun. Okay, so my daughter, my second, right, the second child. This is always really interesting people. The second child. So we were eating dinner one night, and I made some chicken breasts, and she's like, "What part of the chicken is this?" I think she was like 7, 6, 6. And I was like, "It's the breast," and she's like, "No, it's not." And I said, "Why not?" And she's like, "There's no nipples." And I said, chickens don't have nipples. And she's like, why not? I have nipples. Dad has nipples. Why doesn't the chicken have nipples? And then we're like, because they're not mammals. And then she's like processing, she's like, I'm not a mammal. And we're like, yes, you are. She's like, I don't have a hump on my back. So she's that camel. Yeah. I love kids, man. I had so much fun raising my kids. It's good times.
Oh my Lord.
It's good times.
It took me a while to understand that the hard times are the good times. Like, it took me a while to kind of understand that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm lucky because they're still very young, and I kind of get that now. So anytime I'm about to scream, shout, or kick their asses, I'm like, these are the good times. These are the good times.
You're going to miss these days.
These are the good times, yeah. And they really are,
Yeah,
right? It's just a perspective. They really are. Like, they really, really are. And I feel so lucky that I kind of figured it out before they all left. And in many ways, I feel like it's changed our relationships that I figured that out.
Yeah.
Because it allows you not to get angry, but to get even. No, I'm just joking. So my wife's traveling. She just got back from Germany. She's a high power, thing, which I'm totally supportive. It's my fault that she is that, so I don't complain about it. But she was, well, because she was like, oh, I'll stay home with the kids. I'm like, look, in 20 years, they're going to be gone, and you're going to do what?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you need to have a career now, because you need to be your own person. You need to have a career. You need to have friends. You can't be dependent on me. And if I leave you for some reason,
that's fair.
No, it's fair. Like, if I am a son of a bitch and I cheat on you and I leave you,
yes,
you need to have a great job.
Yes.
And you need to be able to take care of yourself.
Yep.
Obviously, I would never do that. But you don't know, right? You don't know what's
You'd like to think you know what you would never do.
I would like to think.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're right. No, I'll be good. I'll be good.
Yeah.
And I don't know what she'll do to me that will piss me off tomorrow. Like, look, we've been together for 20 years. It's going pretty well so far.
Yeah.
But my point is, it doesn't fucking matter. The point is that you choose to love each other every day in the morning. And if you don't make that decision one day, then I don't want, I'm going to forever love her, but I don't know that I'll forever be her husband. And the day that I'm not her husband, and I hope that never happens, I hope that I never change my mind. And I have chosen to love her every day ever since. And I chose to love her this morning. I'll choose to love her tomorrow.
Yes.
Don't know about the day after.
Yes.
But my point is that if that ever changes, I want her to be strong, independent, powerful, and have a good job. So I was like, no, you need to do this.
Right.
So that's why I say I pushed her, because even if I ever fall out of love with her, I still want her to be okay. Anyway, we got very...
That. She just got home from a trip.
Yeah, she just got home from a trip. Anyway,
and your kids.
So I'm working full time,
yes.
right? This is a labor of love. Working full time, they pushed me to my limits, like really pushed me to my limits. And so I called the two idiots down.
I need ages here. I need ages.
So the 13-year-old is teaching the 6-year-old math. He's doing 2 hours of math a day, 2 to 4, depends on how fast he does it.
Wow.
And he's just fucking with the 13-year-old. He's just giving him hell.
I wonder where he learned that.
Yeah, this is, these fuckers are our punishment for what we did to our parents. So it's total karmic revenge. That's totally fine. No, I get it. So I'm like, okay. So I put on Sally Goes Up, Sally Goes Down.
Oh, see.
Yep. So I put on Sally Goes Down, and I start shouting at them, and we're doing squats and push-ups. Son goes down, and they're down, and it's full volume, and I'm screaming, and those fuckers are smiling. And I'm like, this is too much resilience. They need to have a little bit of fear of me.
Right.
Like they don't fear me at all.
At all.
But I'm screaming at them, and the music is playing loud, and they're squatting, and I'm correcting their poses until it's the pose where and I'm doing it with them.
Yeah.
Until it's the pose, and I am strong.
Yeah.
So until it's the pose that they and I'm doing
it.
I'm smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do it correct, and I'm doing it, and I'm doing it even more aggressively than them. And I'm like, what's the problem? Your old man can hold out more than you. And they call me old man, weak old man. And I'm like, everything okay there? And I can see they're wobbling and shaking, and I'm screaming at them. And then they fall on their backs because they can't do it anymore. And I just keep sitting there in the squat, up, down, up, down. So yeah, I gave them hell. But when they're laughing, I'm screaming and smiling. And it's fine, right?
Yeah.
But they like really pushed me to my limit this week, and happy it's over. But oh my god! So at that moment, I need to scream at my kids a little bit.
Yeah.
And we had fun, and that night I made them popcorn.
Yeah.
It did, and then they went back to the math, and he knocked it out of the park. And then I took them to Zigzag to have burgers. So, that's my point, right? The hard parts are the fun parts as well. You just need to figure that shit out.
You're right. I went through those like awakening like in the last, I don't know, 3 years. In the last 3 years, there was this really hard time with my middle. And she went through some hard times, where they start thinking a lot of things that are hard to deal with, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized I've been sitting here trying to be like this facade of a perfect parent, of a perfect mother, of a perfect person, and not like saying, look, I know what it's like for this to happen or to do that, or to like, I had to be a human being to be relatable to her so that she could talk to me.
Yes.
Because I was doing a probably not very good job of trying to pretend I was something I wasn't, like this innocent nun that mysteriously had 3 kids.
What? That never happened.
You did that?
No.
I told my daughter's old enough to, like, because we're human now, right? So she knows I'm a fully functioning woman, So I've been divorced for 9 years. So I told her, I said, listen, make me a deal. It's her and some of my select friends. If something ever happens to me, like really bad, and I don't come home, like I'm gone. I'm not here. Go into the closet. There's a gray bag on the shelf. Don't look inside.
Burn my porn.
Light it on fire. Throw it in a dumpster. And don't look back. And then she says, I already looked in the gray bag.
Oh, no.
That really happened.
So I had that same realization as you did. And I tell my son, and I realized that I can't hold him to unhuman standards, and I can't have him think that I am inhuman, because it just sets him up to failure. So it took me a moment, but I figured it out not so long ago. And I had because shit was hitting the fan like really badly, and I was like, what am I doing wrong here? And that's how raising kids is. It's every month you're fucking it up in some new way, new exciting way. And just because you did it with 2 kids doesn't mean that you're going to do it right with the 3rd, because everyone is a new human being. So it's a fucking shit show. And anyway, so I'm fucking it up again. And then I figure out, okay, that's the thing. And then now, ever since I had the talk, right? And I won't bore you with okay, daddy's a human, all that bullshit. Anyway, so we have the talk, and I kind of come off my high horse, and he calls me an idiot ever since.
Oh my God.
In 3 languages.
With love?
I want to believe so. I want to believe so, but he's calling me an idiot in like 3 different languages.
I have this rule. with parenting. And it's just like when I'm about to do something, I ask myself one question: are they going to have to go to therapy for this someday?
Definitely.
And if the answer is yes, I might tone it down a bit.
Yeah.
I might not completely not do it.
I have the same rule, but it's not therapy. It's, am I angry? There's a difference between shouting at them and being angry.
Yes.
And you can't be angry when you're shouting at them. You have to shout at them with a smile. As long as you're beating the shit out of them, quote unquote, with a smile, it's okay. But if you're and when I say beating the shit out of them, I mean the military education. I don't mean physically. Physically harming them. They're feeling pain by doing push-ups. They're feeling pain, physical pain, by doing squats. But as long as you're disciplining them with a smile and with love, I think it's okay. But if you get angry, and it has happened to me a few times, I'm human, I'll admit it, I always fucking regret it the next day or the next minute or the next second. I was like, this is a fucking mistake. I need to get my emotions in check.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's been key.
I've actually learned the they don't want to disappoint me thing from my dad. So
how do you do that? Like, teach me Catholic guilt. Like, I want to do that. Feels like so much more effective than what I have to do.
It's more of like my dad, he like never yelled at me. Never. My dad would he'd just be like he would just look so like, damn, you really fucked it up this time. You fucked it up so bad. I'm not even gonna say a word to you. Why don't you just
Lord.
It's just like sit there and just think about like just like it's not. Yeah.
Would that work on boys though?
I mean, it worked on my brother too, though.
Really?
Right? Like me and my brother both are just like daddy's on a pedestal, like my dad. But he's like a saint. I'm not gonna lie. Like this, my dad. I'm sorry. I'm lucky. I don't know what I would have done without that guy to show me love. Like he's the first feminist in my life that was like, you can do anything. You're amazing. He's just like a cheerleader. So because he was so positive to me all the time and so encouraging, when he would pull that back, it was devastating because it was always just positive.
Yeah.
So, and I would self-correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would did a few things, but not perfect.
Sure, no, nobody is.
No, but that's what it was, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've picked it up with my daughter, like. But
you didn't elect for that tactic with your daughter.
I didn't elect for that tactic with which daughter?
With your kids, right? You're not using that tactic.
I actually, it's been. The youngest one has never been spanked ever. Not even nothing. It is a gentler. The old one gets mad at what
Why?
At the young ones, like well, she gets away with everything, and I'm just like, I'm not the same person. Like,
that's right.
Literally not the same person that raised you. I feel bad for you because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was 22.
Right.
I was 22 and fresh out of the army. Like, I was still in uniform when I got my discharge, and I was pregnant, like that. So I had married a paratrooper. So his mom's his mom was in the army, and his dad was a jump master instructor. So he had a strict, like, I didn't handle the discipline. I didn't handle discipline. His dad did. Yeah. So I was the gentle one. Yeah. So that's the difference. You're the dad. It's hard because dad's always expected to be the disciplinarians, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, this is a tough one. Here's the problem, right? With my wife, we had to align and sync that it's okay that I take the disciplinary kind of persona, but I need you to back me up. I'm okay to be the bad cop, but I need you to back me up, because if you don't back me up, then they're going to manipulate us against each other. And that's bad. So I need you to support me in the process. and I will support you in the process. And if we need to kind of get our story straight before we, we play good cop, bad cop, that's okay.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Yeah.
And the problem is if you don't play good cop, bad cop, and you don't get your story straight before doing it, but if you play bad cop and then defense attorney, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how relationships go sour.
I object. Yes.
It's like, oh no, your daughter did it. Like, no, you're my fucking wife, not her defense attorney.
Right. Right.
So we had to get our shit together, and that took some work.
It's almost like you need a safe word. Like, if you're taking it too far. Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
because look, I lost my shit, and look, I had to learn how to do it right. She had to learn how to do it right. Like, it's been a fucking process is what it's been. But we've been together for 20 years. Our oldest is 13.
Yeah.
Yes, the youngest, the 6-year-old, is showing us that we don't know shit about shit. And the 13-year-old, the 11-year-old daughter, like, she is challenging me in ways I did not imagine are possible. Yeah. She was giving me so much fucking sass the other day. And I was like, hold on. I said you can't play this computer game with strangers because pedophiles are a thing.
Yes.
But you can play it with your friends. So I did not say that you can't play it with nobody. So why am I getting this mopey shit face? and I'm like, why? And I'm like, rational, and she's emotional.
Yes, of course.
And I'm like, why are you sad? Shouting at her. Why are you sad? Shouting at her. Why are you sad?
Let her be sad, Dad. Let her be sad.
And it's like, I can't play on my game. And I'm like, I didn't say that. I'm like, you can play on your fucfucking game, just not with strangers. Because, this person can be like a pedophile and you don't know. So can you just play with your friends?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I can play with my friends. And then I'm like, can you play the game alone? And I'm like, yeah, I can play it. So you can play alone. Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
So why are we fighting?
Do you know there's like parental controls? Like, could you put the parental controls on?
It's like, yeah. And I'm like, is this PG-13? I'm like, yes. I'm like, okay, you can play.
Yeah.
Like, can you just not play with strangers? Yes, I can play with my friends. Okay, so why are you sad? It's like, she doesn't know. I don't know. We figured it out, but it involved quite a bit of drama.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? Because her mom wasn't there, right?
Yes.
There's no mediator. There's nobody to help me talk girl. And there was no, mom to help girl talk dad. It was just, it went out of the fucking control. And then we figured out that we were okay. Like, nobody was it took us a minute to get there.
That's the age, though. That's the age where the girl dadding gets a little harder, because the ages that we're going from girl to woman.
But look, I've learned enough.
Cry.
I learned enough woman to speak my wife's, like, I learned to speak woman, and woman translates okay to girl. So I can speak girl, I can speak woman, but I speak it in a rough manner, right? It's almost like, yo, hablo español, hablo muy bien. So that's how,
poquito,
más o menos, sí.
Más o menos hablo mujer.
So that's how I sound in girl or woman.
Right.
And so it takes a moment to kind of get the things across, but it kind of works. So I've learned the language, but speak it very poorly.
Sometimes they cry, and it doesn't make sense, and it's called
I am
hormones.
Lord. So ironically, my wife, she gets upset with obviously my son, not with. So I'm like, he's 13. His body is being what? Because he doesn't talk girl or woman. He talks boy, and I talk boy, because boy is only slightly less good than man. Man is just a little bit better than boy, right? So we use longer words and more syllables. That's all.
Right.
So she's talking to him, and he's like, ugh. And I'm like, oh, I get it. I see what you're saying. She's like, what the fuck, you little ungrateful little shit. I gave you life. And I'm like, no, that's boy for I love you.
Yeah.
so I'm translating boy to woman. She's translating girl to man.
There you go.
We're making it work.
Yeah.
But when she travels, all shit falls apart. So yeah, that's the story. And she just got back. Like she just walked in the door.
She wants to spend time with you. We got to get off this thing.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this shit up.
But it was fun.
There's one question, like this has been so much fun, and thank you for letting me talk, because usually it's me just asking questions.
Yeah.
I have one question. We got to have you back because we didn't talk through a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to get to. But let me, and that's a genuine offer. I'll give you the link to do that.
Is this going to be like complete, or are you going to edit some parts out, or?
Is there anything we should edit out? I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know. We can keep it light. I don't know.
It's fine. Okay, one question, difficult question because it's personal. If you had to go back to the hardest point in your life, what would you tell yourself?
I would say that it's very trite, right? What other people think doesn't matter, because if you would have just gone with what you wanted to do and been who you wanted to be, you would have found your happy a lot sooner. There's no use in comparing yourself to what anybody else's expectations are. Like, there's no use in looking at someone else and feeling like you're better than or less than at all, because it's all fake. It's all fake. Everybody in this world that's marketing something wants you to think you're not good enough. You're not pretty enough. You need makeup. Your hair's ugly. You need the special shampoo. You're too fat. You need these pills. Your clothes isn't good enough. You need this fancy one. Your car sucks. You need this fancy one. Like, you're not happy enough. You need this pills and this therapy. And like, it's just, everyone's just trying to pull money out of you feeling like shit.
Yeah.
And you're pretty okay. Like, you should have enjoyed the perkiness of your body more and not been so self-conscious back then, because I miss it.
That's the dark side of capitalism. I mean, it's the best, worst system we have.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I tell my wife this, and my daughter isn't at that age yet, but I tell her, you are the most beautiful right now than you'll ever be.
Yep.
It's only downhill from here.
That was touching for a moment.
But I mean, the truth in it is, like, you don't need makeup. You don't need, I mean, you want to put it on for you, that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't put it on for other people.
Right.
At least that's my philosophy. And you should absolutely do sports, but that's so you don't die tomorrow and you're with me for another 40 years, not because you're whatever you think about your body is perfect. So do sports, yes, but to be healthy.
Yeah.
Eat well, yes, to be healthy, not for any other fucking reason, because they're all wrong. And definitely don't do fucking Botox, or she never went down that path, but I've met people who do. Don't do Botox. Don't do these weird surgeries. Don't use drugs that were not prescribed to you by a doctor. Like, all that shit is just fucking evil. So I appreciate that. That's I'm a man, so I don't know if I'm technically allowed to talk about these things, but I am deeply appreciative of you saying that. Thank you, because I think a lot of people need to hear it.
And thank you for being the person to show your daughter what good love from a man should feel like. It's acceptance and understanding that the person who truly loves her, maybe it's in a different way because they're not your dad, but that person is going to love her exactly for who she is. And that's what I think a lot of little girls lack in this world. So yeah, I'm glad you show her that.
Appreciate that. That may be now the best compliment I ever got. And now that Mr. Bengal, General Bengal, is
he's second.
In second place. Yeah. Paloma, muchas gracias y mucho gusto. I appreciate you. And we will talk again soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.